general fund dollars. So I want to know, we're talking $1 million to $2 million of general fund savings. Where are you going to come up with it this year? I mean, maybe the proposal of giving everybody shut down government for 2 or 3 weeks, I guess that's a proposal. I don't know how that's going to work for the sheriff's department or the DA's department or the building and planning. But, you know, that seems to be the majority of the board wants to go that direction.
Okay.
So, you know, be careful what you ask for, because it might be just the opposite of what you get.
Thank you. Supervisor Delbert.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Supervisor Pinches, I have asked for years to have the analysis done on how much it would save. And maybe you could be right. Maybe it doesn't save us anything, the WISP. Maybe it generates revenues above and beyond its expenses. I doubt it. Seriously doubt it. I can't get the support. I am willing to go forward with a semi-balanced budget. I will not support, I'll tell you that right now, and I'll say it again, I said it last week or 2 weeks ago, I will not support outside expenditures, outside agency requests at this point. They're great requests. We can't meet our needs internally. Why would the heck would I want to fund outside? I can't go there, John. Can't. Take that off the table, we'll talk. I will be more happy to support, again, some sort of a balance here. If I have a work plan that I know that this organization will follow with timelines that will be met, that will address these issues. I'm not asking today to say, put the for sale sign on the whisk. I want a timeline that says we will study it, we will come back to answer your question, is it cost effective to provide the same service in 3 locations in this county? I don't think so. But let the analysis prove me wrong or prove me right. I want to talk about Fort Bragg Animal Shelter and keeping it open. When's that analysis going to be done? If they're shipping animals from Ukiah to Fort Bragg to make it look good, we got a problem. Give me a timeline where we're going to address them. Don't just say, we'll get to it someday, because that someday never comes. The next thing you know, we'll be sitting up here debating next year's budget. Give me a work plan, and I'll be happy. And I'm going to hold everybody's feet to the fire that we get it done and get it accomplished. Because, let me finish, John, because that has not happened yet. And I'll be happy with the work plan. That staff can come back and say, here are the things, and we've talked about them throughout the year. Geez, we ought to look at this, we ought to look at that. But it's never the right time, going back to what you said. We're always told, and I agree with you, today's not the day to do it. Well, between now and next Tuesday, if we don't come to some agreement today, or 3 board members don't come up to some agreement today, then next Tuesday, I'd be really happy to have staff's recommendations say, you know what, here's a lot of these different items that we want to look at. Some may pan out, some may not. But here's the timeline in which we'll do the analysis and make a proposal back to the board. That would go a long way to saying, you know what, we are going to look at them and not just punt it off and maybe someday somebody will forget they even asked for it. That's the big problem. But take the outside stuff off the agenda and you'll go a long way to getting my support. You want to know what my recommendations are? That's it. That's where I am, and that's what it'll take to get me to support this.
Supervisor Pinches.
So I guess what it comes down to are, what kind of cuts are we looking for here? Are we looking to pay down the teeter debt, 800,000 or 2 million? What is the numbers are we looking for? Are we looking about not putting the solid waste money in the general fund? So what's the direction that the 3 board members that didn't support this proposed budget, what's the direction are they going to give the CEO's office and all of the staff? What are they looking for in general fund dollars? I mean, I'd like to hear from the 3 of you what you're looking for.
I'll chime in again.
Is it $1 million? Is it $3 million? What is it?
I'll chime in again and make my position clear. I will not support the $75,000 in outside. Take that off the table for me. This is what you asked. I'm giving you mine. The teeter is likely the best we're going to be able to do this year at this point in time. Now, if something happens between now as we go through the fiscal year and we're able to allocate more to that, or we find out that the interest information is not as accurate as we'd like and there may be more money there, we can do that. I'm not hoping that between now and today or next week that there'll be a sudden another million on the table. I don't see that. I don't think that's realistic, Johnny. But I wanted to have some assurances that we're going to be looking at these issues that we've been asking for individually and collectively for years, and it never happens. And that's what I would like the CEO's office to come back and say, here's what we can do and here are the timelines. That is about as close to a balanced budget as we're going to get this year.
So what's
But
the
we
dollar
got to,
figure
but
you're
we got to
looking for?
start,
So what would be the dollar figure parameters you're looking for?
we got to start looking at these options and what it's going to take to implement them, because as our budget process continues throughout the year and the dozens of budget workshops that we have throughout the year, we've got to be planning for next year, just as we thought we were planning for this last year. We've got to be working on those. Without a scope of work for us and for staff, I don't have the assurances. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't have the assurances it's going to happen. That's what I want.
Okay, before I go to the other board members, Ms. Wyatt, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to clarify, just in the total amount